Welcome to 6 Million Seeds. I'm Meryl Fury.
And I'm Carrie Bruno. We are healthcare professionals and co-creators of this podcast.
This episode is brought to you by the power of community.
I'm surrounded by lots of educators. I live with a man that has been raised this way since birth. So I have benefits and knowledge that I know most people don't have.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter. You still have to do it for yourself. None of those people can do it for me. None of those people are watching everything I put in my mouth. So it was making that commitment and realizing I'm important enough, and it is okay to, as women, or when I was a young mom and I'm helping with parents' health issues and and working in college, I thought I don't have time for that, but I don't have time not to do that. Mm-hmm. So I wish I had learned earlier that it is okay to take care of yourself first.
Today, we have the pleasure of talking with Wanda Huberman. She was born in Virginia and moved to Northeastern Ohio as a child, where she was raised on a small family farm. She began to learn about a whole food plant-based lifestyle when she met her husband in 1989. Around that time, she started attending conferences for the National Health Association. Fast forward to 2020, and now Wanda is the full-time executive director of the National Health Association. In today's discussion, Wanda will share more about the NHA, but it's one of the longest standing nonprofit organizations promoting the benefits of a plant-based diet. Also, during today's conversation, Wanda will share her experience as well as some tips and tricks about how to make a plant-based lifestyle work for families. Having raised 3 daughters and now her granddaughter, Wanda has plenty of information and advice to share. So let's hear what she has to say.
So today we have the opportunity to speak with Wanda Huberman from National Health Association. You already heard her intro and her bio. Such a wonderful person, and we have the honor of being able to work closely with her on the 6 Million Seeds project. So excited. So welcome, Wanda.
Hi, Meryl. Hi, Carrie. Thank you guys so much for having me. I do love working with you. I love our partnership and look forward to much more work together in the future.
Yeah, likewise.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us a little bit about yourself and your background?
Yes. So I'm married. I have 3 adult daughters and 1 baby granddaughter. I've been following this lifestyle for a little over 30 years. When I met my husband, Mark, he was already in this lifestyle. He was raised whole food plant-based from birth. So as we were dating, I'm learning a little bit, but certainly no man was going to tell me what to do. So I wasn't going to do this because he told me. But we dated for a couple of years before getting married. He's great at picking produce and making meals. And I had a daughter that I had a 6-year-old when we met. And I was working 2 jobs and I was going to college. And so it was great if he wanted to say, come over for dinner after work. And I'd eat his salads every day because somebody else was making them. I didn't have to be a vegan. Then I started going to National Health Association conferences, and we could talk a little bit later about the National Health Association, hearing from leading doctors like Joel Furman and Colin Campbell and Caldwell Esselstyn and many others, and learning the value. And I eventually made the switch to a whole food plant-based lifestyle. So I'm now serving as the executive director of the National Health Association. I get to work with my husband. I get to work with people in this movement. What a great way for a second career. I'm loving every minute of it.
I didn't realize that. I thought, because you're married to Mark Huberman, that you were involved in the National Health Association like very early on in your relationship with him.
Not at all. I went to the conferences. He would be speaking as president, and he wasn't always president. He'd be president. He'd step off the board, and then if they would have a need, he'd come back on the board. And so he wasn't even on the board for the majority of our marriage, but it was near and dear to his heart. And so we went to every conference. We certainly had friends in the movement, but no, I had a whole separate career, and it was not, I went as a guest, just like everybody else. I sat in the audience. I raised my children going to the conferences. Didn't get involved till very recent.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Huh. So you said that it was when you went all in 100% plant-based, that's what made the difference for you. Tell us, what was the thing that turned the tide for you? What made that switch?
All right, so it was a couple of times. Once when I started dating Mark, my daughter was scheduled to have her tonsils and adenoids out. She's 6. I had my tonsils and adenoids out. I just thought that's what happens to children. They have ear infections and that's what they do.
Right.
And Mark doesn't proselytize very much. His parents owned a health food and weight center. And his dad gave me a book. I'm just drawing a blank on the title of the book, but it was about getting sugar out of your diet.
Okay.
And so I made subtle changes, adding more greens. I didn't go even vegan, but I did take sugar out, took a little bit of fried food out. Lo and behold, just a few months later, my daughter goes for her pre-op checkup and the doctor's yelling at the nurse for giving him the wrong chart. And she's like, "Doctor, this is the right chart." And he's like, "Well, I can't explain it. Take this child home. She doesn't need surgery."
Wow.
That was quite a statement to me early on. So I went what I thought was all in. My education was limited. My husband had just started eating cooked food. That's another whole story we won't go into, but he was raised as a raw foodist. So that wasn't the lifestyle I was going to go. So he didn't cook very much. So I didn't, even though I was having his benefit, I was still living on my own. I did the best I could. She stayed healthy. We did that for a while and it worked really well for our family. And then as she got older and I started traveling more for work, I started making exceptions. You know, that you just one time I could do this, which becomes 2 times. You turn around, whether it's 2 months or 6 months, and my life is all exceptions now.
Yeah.
And so, you know, I'm jumping forward 25 years from, you know, that child I'm talking about at 6 will be 40 in February. So
Okay.
that's kind of the time frame. So by 2011, after I'd been making exceptions, I never went back to, I stayed vegetarian. I even added dairy back in. So I'm dairy, salt, oil, and sugar. And in 2011, I'm sitting at my desk, working too many hours, drinking coffee to wake up, a glass of wine to slow down in the evening. And I'm always tired and didn't feel as mentally sharp. And so I went to True North and did a fast to kind of reacclimate my taste buds because I knew what they were at one point before I was making those exceptions. At that point, 2011, I don't mind saying I was in my early 50s. So I'm like, okay, Dr. Esselstyn had said to me one time a statement that sticks with me. We all have our warranty periods. So it's different when I was in my 30s and early 40s and I thought I'd make an exception and that I was immortal. Now in my 50s and I'm seeing parents having health issues and around more older people, I thought, that's it. 100%, I'm doing this. I want to be healthy every day until I die. I don't want those last years to be suffering years.
Yeah.
So my level, I reacclimated. I had gained 50 pounds, by the way. So I was quite overweight. I went out to True North. I did that water fast. I focused on eating healthy. I focused on exercise and sleep and came home and I've never looked back. And so that's been 12 years ago almost. Best 12 years ever.
Wonderful. Yeah. Yeah.
So what would you say if there was one particular change that was the most important for you?
To me, it was going that 100%.
Okay.
You know, so I coach people or people just ask me for advice. I'm not a health coach. I'm busy enough with the National Health Association, but lots of people certainly ask me, especially when I first came home and they could see the weight loss. That's, you know, people don't see the inside and understand
That's
you don't
right.
have to be having to have health issues. So I hate to tell people 100% because so many people think, oh, I can't do it, and they won't even try.
Yeah.
So you have to know yourself. And knowing myself is when at 80%, I was always teasing myself. And so my taste buds never fully acclimated. When I went 100% in, taste buds acclimated. I love, love, love all the food. I don't crave the sugars anymore. Of course, I don't keep it in my house, but I go out and I'm exposed to it and I travel. And if I get oil in something when I'm traveling, then I do it and I'm able to move on. I don't consider myself, some people have addictions and that's a problem. It's not necessarily for me. I don't want to do it too much because I don't want to lose the love of the taste of the natural food. So for me, I would say it was going 100% and making that commitment. And in my mind, I didn't even have to like the commitment. So I'm traveling and I might be eating a freeze-dried packaged, food that's whole food, plant-based, SLS free that you can buy online, or a box of soup or just salad. So I might not be thrilled with the meals I'm eating all the time, but I know it's what's best for me. And when I'm traveling and visiting family, I've got greater purposes. And I just think, why are we so focused on food all the time? I know I'm getting the nourishment.
Yeah.
And that's just, it's a mindset. So one of my sayings is, this kind of health begins in your mind before it begins in your mouth.
Wow.
Once
Yeah.
you make that mental awareness, it's more than a commitment, it's an awareness. Once you know it, you can't unknow it, right? And
That's
so
That
great.
is so true.
know the harm that dairy and oil and animal products, now that I know it, I can't unsee it. So it's, which one of the other doctors always says your body, Michael Clapper, I think might be, your body's never not looking. So I don't beat myself up. I'm surrounded by lots of educators. I live with a man that has been raised this way since birth. So I have benefits and knowledge that I know most people don't have. It doesn't matter. You still have to do it for yourself. None of those people can do it for me. None of those people are watching everything I put in my mouth. So it was making that commitment and realizing I'm important enough. And it is okay to, as women, or when I was a young mom and I'm helping with parents' health issues and and working in college, I thought, I don't have time for that. But I don't have time not to do that. So I wish I had learned earlier that it is okay to take care of yourself first.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So-
I'm making little notes as you're talking. Yeah, I thought I don't have time for that. I think so many women are in that boat, especially by the time we have kids. And, if you can squeeze in time between maybe your full-time job and you're driving back and forth and your kids' extracurricular activities, and, maybe you can get to exercise yourself, and maybe then, do I have time to manage the diet that closely and also work with my children to also eat healthy, right? At the same time, that feels like a monumental undertaking for a lot of people.
But at the same time, there are easy ways to do it. It's just figuring that out. There is a little bit of a hurdle in the beginning, but once you do that, it for us, it's as natural as maybe before we went plant-based.
And today it's easier than 35 years ago. When I started, there was no internet to tell me, so now I'm thinking, I'm having nieces and nephews over that don't eat this way. Maybe I want to make a whole food plant-based mac and cheese. Not something I really make, but I just go to the internet and Google one of my favorite chefs or bloggers and I can find what I need. I have recipes, but things like that were pretty non-existent when I started. And maybe that, I don't know if I'm giving myself an out, but I do think it was true that every year going to the conference, I would just grab all this info, take these notes and go home. But the information, you didn't used to be able to go to a grocery store and get cabbage already cut up and shredded, all the produce that's already partially prepared if you need that. There are a lot more things making it easier. You didn't used to be able to order from a place like Leafside if you wanted food to go when there aren't better options.
Right, right,
Exactly.
right, right. Any of those delivery meal services,
Right.
those weren't an option. I remember when I started, so, this was back in the 70s.
Mhm.
What was available if you ever wanted to go out to eat, I would get a baked potato
Mm.
Yeah.
and lettuce, tomato, cucumber salad. That was the extent of it,
Oh,
right?
wow.
That's all you could get.
That's true.
Yeah, it's so different now. So different.
That's so much to be grateful for. And when I was my mother-in-law lived with me. She quit working at age 90 and she died in her sleep at 97.
Mm.
And she lived with us for those last 7-8 years. And she would be over when ladies would just be saying how hard it is. And then she'd talk about raising my husband in the 50s as a raw food, whole food, plant-based, and they could no longer complain.
Right. There's no complaining in the face of that, right? That's
Right.
for sure. For sure.
So you are involved with NHA, leading NHA. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about NHA?
I'd love to. Thank you. National Health Association was founded by some really thoughtful, intelligent doctors in 1948. So they had the intuition and the foresight of a lot of the things we're doing today that have now been backed up by science.
Mhm.
So, the benefits of whole food, plant-based to heart disease and no oil. They maybe didn't have the medical journal articles that the doctors have today, but it's so exciting to go back and read what they were saying, and it's so consistent with what the evidence is saying today. So I'm thrilled to be that they have that legacy involvement and that we still have that history, and that this year we do annual conferences I'll talk about in a second, but this year we're celebrating 75 years. And the National Health Association is a nonprofit. We don't sell anything other than we are a membership-based organization. So we ask you to become a member. It's a whopping $35 a year. Price hasn't gone up, I think, since maybe 78 or 82. It's been that price, and we keep it that price intentionally as long as we possibly can, so that as many people as possible can join. And as a member, you will receive a quarterly magazine called Health Science. And it's 40 pages, it's in print. It's because we don't sell anything and we don't take money from advertisers. It's advertisement free. We think that enables us to maintain a level of integrity that has been important to the NHA from the beginning. It's usually starts with an article from a leading doctor. So this current one is Dr. Funk. And then it'll have articles from other doctors. Like this one has Dare to Be Different by Dr. Joel Fuhrman. And it has an article about toxic care and personal care products.
Right.
And how about that? It has an article on child nutrition in America today by someone named Meryl Fury. So get this one. And then it has an article on power of gratitude. So it's a really diverse amount of information. You're also going to get, it's not a recipe article, but you are going to get recipes, and you're going to get testimonials from other people. And the coolest benefit, if you have time and you're researching, we've archived 42 years of these magazines. And you, as a member, you have access to all of that for free. You can just go online. If you want to find an article about gut health, if you want to find an article about autoimmune disease, or you can just put it in the Google search on our webpage, and you will be able to find that. We've also downloaded, archived books, and some of these books are out of print now. Wow. And the other thing about the National Health Association, besides us being the oldest kind of legacy organization promoting the benefits of a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, and it's promoting the benefits for human health, the health of animals, the health of our planet. It's talking about, you can't just stand on one stool all your life about health. So we're going to talk about the importance of sleep and the importance of exercise and the importance of peace of mind or spirituality, whatever that is. So you have that solid 4 pillars or 4-legged stool. But what the National Health Association has also been talking about and continues obtaining updated, relevant, evidence-based science information is the benefits of medically supervised water fasting when indicated. Don't think there's any other organized nonprofit out there talking about water fasting. And so we bring all this information together every year in a conference. It's been in Cleveland, Ohio. We may be moving it soon, but this year celebrating the 75th is in Cleveland. And the dates are June 23rd to June 25th. These are some of our speakers. I'm still adding speakers. You can go to my website and you'll see that information. The website is www.healthscience.org. And not only do you get a weekend of incredible educational information, that is what brought me to the place I am today, you get food. I work so closely with the chefs. They only use recipes I provide them and the menus I create. So you get great meals. We have exercise programs, great information. But I think what I hear the most is you get a sense of connection. Meryl and Carrie and I connected last year at the conference, and we're not going to lose that connection.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's what happens. It becomes a family. And although we're going to sell out at 350 tickets, and we are getting close to that. So if you are interested, look on the website, get your ticket. The early bird ticket rate is going to stay available through the end of the year. What has changed with planning conferences is inflation. The hotel won't even lock me in on a food price.
Wow.
So I've got a range. So hopefully by January 1st, I can lock in, I can set my final price. So I can't tell you where that's going to go. So I'm really encouraging people to sign up now. And we're going to just figure out a way to make it work at that price, regardless of what the budget is.
Well, I know I have not taken advantage of the early bird price yet, but we will be doing that.
Yes.
Yeah, please do.
Before the end of this week, that's for sure.
And when you go online, you're going to see that there's also a link to get the block. If you were to call the hotel, it's going to be at a recently renovated Holiday Inn Conference Center, and it's beautiful. And I've worked with the chef before, so I'm so excited. And we are bringing our own chef in, and he's going to go in the kitchen. And
Beautiful.
so the food is going to be phenomenal. And the hotel has locked me in at a block rate that I was really thrilled to get, $139 a night.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That
And
is,
so if you call and just say, I want to use my points or I want to stay, they're going to tell you it's sold out because we booked the whole hotel. You need to say you're with the 2023 NHA conference, you want the 139 block rate, and you'll get whatever you want. So we have this children's program for all the lectures, not for the meals. You know, the parents go pick up their kids and bring the kids and they help them get the meals. By the end of the conference, the kids have their own table. We're not the parents, they're eating. Parents don't have to worry about them getting through the food line as long as they're eating enough food and not playing the whole time.
right.
Yeah.
All of the food is fine.
Nice. Really nice.
They get an ice cream party. So we have somebody come in with Vitamix and make them sundaes and they can top their own ice cream. We have an art teacher that comes in, they get art projects, they get indoor swimming and hiking, and that's just the beginning of what they get.
So
So much
beautiful.
fun, yeah.
Yeah, that is really great. So talking about kids, great segue. So you raised your own kids, you now have one grandbaby, right? Tell us, knowing what you know now,
Right.
how would you have raised your children any differently? And I guess maybe two, what would you encourage other parents to take on with working with their children and keeping them healthy and feeding them well?
So I probably need to preface it by I raised a non-traditional family. So I mentioned I had a daughter when I met my husband who was 6. He had a daughter that he was raising by himself who was 3.
Okay.
We never had any children together. So I'm raising children that are already eating food. By the time we got married, those girls were 6 and 8. The 6-year-old had never tasted anything that wasn't whole food plant-based. The 8-year-old still goes to grandma's house, still my side of the family. She's still getting crappy food. I'm doing the best I can, but I'm still learning and haven't figured it out. So they have very different taste acclimations. So number one thing I learned, so I'm going to say middle child because there was one other child that came along, but for the longest time I just had two. So the one that was raised from birth, she's still vegan. Might she sneak in a little dairy? Maybe. I'm not even sure. Might she sneak in salt, oil, and sugar? I'm certain of it. She's gourmet. She lives in New York City. She's in her mid-30s now. But when I said you can't undo, she understands.
Mm-hmm.
Where the older child, I think I saw how well the younger one was doing, how much help. So I was too bossy about it. My house, my rules kind of thing. Dogmatic was the best I thought I could do at the time with the limited hours I had. The hindsight of watching other parents that have children the age of my children, I needed to explain more why this was good for her. I needed to involve her more. So she's not involved in this. She eats a standard American diet. We have a great relationship. She's at my house right now. I had smoothies made when everybody got there. She didn't even want one. Everybody else did. That's okay. I was in my 50s before I made the commitment. We all will or won't come to it. I love her unconditionally. And if she needs the information, she knows where to get it.
Cool. All right, we're going to, maybe this is the last one or two questions here, right?
Okay.
All right. So what is one thing that you would recommend parents do if they wanted to either transition? Yeah, let's go with transition. Say their baby's already eating standard American stuff.
Yeah.
What's one thing you would recommend to start if they wanted to transition off?
I think modeling the food you're eating. Don't all little kids want to do what mommy and daddy does?
Yeah.
And so if it means I'm going to sit and eat some raw peas, and that is the funny thing this child does. She wants to pick one up and feed it to me. So I eat it. I allow her to feed it to me and say, yeah, Mimi loves that too. And so I think just being a good role model and having patience and love.
I love that one. Yeah.
So if there's, how would you say, or what would you suggest if people want to connect with you or the National Health Association? Where can they go to do that?
So there's a couple of places. I've given the website www.healthscience.org. You can find out lots of information. Now, some of our information is gated, meaning you have to be a member and put in your member code. Much of it is not. I have a whole recipe section I welcome you to look at. The recipes I've served at the last 3 conferences I did, I put them into e-cookbooks, and I have not gated any of that. Some of the gated community stuff is our members get incredible discounts on products like Vitamix. That's gated. If you're going to buy anything Vitamix, join for $35 because you're going to save more than that with your first small purchase at Vitamix. And those discounts are often combined with their sale prices. So you can find me online at our website, and I'll give you my personal email. I do my very best to respond. If you don't get a response, send me a second one. If I'm out of town, sometimes they really fall below in the feed of emails, and I confess to missing them once in a while. My email is whuberman@healthscience.org, and I'd be happy to respond.
Nice. Well, I'm sure a lot of our viewers will find the information and the recipes on the website very beneficial.
And I'm going to throw out one other contact information. If they go on our website and they join today, or I'll say even within the next 5 to 7 days, as long as I don't run out. This is the magazine that just went in the mail in the last couple of weeks to our members. I said they come out every 3 months. If you say that you saw information on the 6 Million Seeds podcast, and I still have them left, I will mail one to you. So you'll be effectively getting 5. That won't count as your membership.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, that is wonderful. See why we love Wanda? She's a peach. I'll put those in the notes.
Yeah.
Oh, can I go back to one thing with kids too?
Of course.
Sure.
So I have most adorable family that lives across the street. They don't eat this way. They kind of understand I do. We haven't had meals together. They're barbecuing. If I go over there, I just don't eat. Their 5-year-old and their 6-year-old love to play at my house. I love children. And the rule is they just love to see what's in my fridge. They've never seen some of the things in my refrigerator. And I allow them to pick the fruit and make the popsicle or the ice cream, and then it freezes and they come back and get to taste it. But the rule I've made as they're being introduced to new food, you can spit it out. I just want you to be comfortable trying it, because they came over with their grandmother and they couldn't use too many napkins and they couldn't spit the food out and they couldn't make a mess. Well, my kitchen is messy all the time. They can make a mess. I don't care. And I don't care how many paper towels they use. I just want them to be comfortable trying the food. So I let them make it. They actually want to help wash dishes. And so I just, listening to what those children wanted, and they were here just yesterday. And so that's been going on for a couple of years with them.
So is there anything else you'd like to share with our audience? One piece of advice or anything that they can relate to?
Right. So I've had the benefit of being in this lifestyle for a long time. So I've watched children being raised from birth. I've watched people 80 years old making transitions, and it's so beneficial at whatever age. So it's never too early to get started. It's never too late. Having a community, staying connected with 6 million seeds and plant-based nutrition movement. Wait, I always mess that up. Plant-based nutrition movement, PBNM. Those are great ways. Having the magazine for me before I was a member, just people tell me, just kind of reading that, having that come into your house every 3 months. Feed yourself mentally and physically with what is going to promote your education and your health.
Beautiful.
Perfectly said.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Wanda. It has been such a pleasure speaking with you. It always is a pleasure speaking with you. That's not new.
Thank you, ladies. And I can't wait to see you in June.
Yes, we will be there.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to throw one other thing in on our website for anybody that's interested. I do plant-based travel. So if you want to travel to exotic places and you don't want to have to worry about your food and you want adventure, they are not necessarily cheap because I'm working with sustainable cruise lines. This is not a funding for the NHA. This is me meeting the needs of many of our members that wanted to travel and didn't want to plan their own food. So just go to plant-based travel if that interests you. We have one coming up in February that's children friendly, but it's very pricey. So at this point, I don't think there are any children on the ship. 96 passengers. The entire ship is going to be whole food, plant-based. There will be no other food being served, SOS free, lots of gluten-free options. And we're going to the Galapagos Islands with National Geographic. So we're going to have geographic experts. It's going to be an expedition cruise. So if you have the time and the funding, take a look at that as well.
And it's at plant-based travel. Is there anything else?
No, it's under healthscience.org.
Okay.
And you'll see a tab for travel. And when you click on that, the drop down will be plant-based travel.
Okay. That
And
sounds like an amazing trip.
It sure
If
does.
you have trouble finding it, just send me an email, whuberman@healthscience.org.
Okay.
Perfect.
Got it. Wonderful.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me and letting me talk to your audience. I appreciate that.
Yeah. Well, we appreciate you coming.
Yes.
And taking us up on the invitation. That always makes a difference. So I also understand that you are stepping into a new arena. You're going to be doing podcasting. That's the word on the street. Wanda, what's going on?
So we are just starting. We are going to get a few in the bag is what the producers tell me that's considered. And once we have some pre-recorded, hopefully in December, we will be launching the Health Science Podcast. Dr. Frank Sabatino is the NHA Health Director, and he will be the host of all of our podcasts. My husband and I will be the first one he interviews so he can introduce people to the NHA. And we've already lined up Dr. T. Cullen Campbell for our first professional speaker.
Nice.
We'll be bringing that to you every couple of weeks. And again, on my webpage, you'll be able to find all things health science and what we're doing.
Beautiful.
Yeah. We'll be
Look-
sure to tune in.
Yeah, we're looking forward to that one. So thanks so much, Wanda. We are looking forward to spending more time with you in the near future.
Mhm.
And we may or may not have said that Wanda is one of our major supporters for the 6 Million Seeds project.
Yes.
We have our large event coming up in December, and Wanda has been working just elbow to elbow, hip to hip with us to get
Yeah.
that to launch.
It's
So
so nice working with you.
yes, you are a big part of our heart for this this event. So we're going to let you go back. I hear you have grandchildren or children in the background, so we'll let you get back to life as usual for you on a weekend.
Well, thank you. And I am excited about the podcast or the virtual conference that you're running December 3rd to December 6th for children, because
Yes.
I didn't have any of that assistance raising children, and maybe somebody could have given me tips that would have been helpful.
Right?
Yeah.
I
Make
really
it that much easier for people.
Yeah, if
right?
that's how I feel. You get one or two tidbits that stick with you. It's well worth it. So thank you for letting me share my experiences and talk about the National Health Association. It's so great to be partnering with you on any level.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we will talk to you soon. Tell Mark we said hi.
Yes.
I will. Thanks, ladies. Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, my lovelies. This is Meryl.
And this is Carrie, and we're here to invite you to an amazing event that we're planning. It is the 6 Million Seeds 2022 Child Nutrition Summit, and we're kicking off a revolutionary decade in child nutrition.
It is free, it is live, and it's online coming up December 3rd through the 6th for 2 sessions per day. We have some great speakers lined up. We have Dr. Yami, Dr. Columbus Batiste, and Dr. Joel Furman, all medical doctors who are experts in the field of child health and nutrition.
And we even have some fun cooking demos planned. They will be by Evelise Capot and Dilip Barman and his daughter Anu.
So like I said, it's free, and we encourage you to take advantage of the VIP upgrade so that you can have actual conversations with our presenters. You can ask your questions, you can get your questions answered, as well as you'll get recordings to all the sessions and all of the question and answer part. Along with that, you'll get a free goodie bag full of stuff we are packing chock full just for you.
Yeah, so go ahead, and the link is below, and definitely click it and sign up now. And we're looking forward to seeing you there.
Okay, bye-bye. 6 Million Seeds is made possible by the generosity of Bruno Chiropractic, Acme Construction Metals, EXP Realty, and Deck It Out Builders. We thank you for your support.